Alright, what's going on, everybody? I'm back to do my UFC 110 predictions. Figured I'd film this in the car, do something a little bit different. If you see the video get cut off at certain points, or it's shortened up, it's because I'm going through a toll booth. So I'm going to work my way from the top of the main card, a little bit different than what I normally do. Try something different, see if you guys like it. Talk about the first fight of the night on the top of the main card, which would be Velasquez versus Nogueira. Nogueira trains out of Black House, black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very, very good boxing. One of the toughest guys in MMA to finish. We've seen that throughout his career, fights against Fedor. He's done some amazing things. And this is a very, very interesting matchup based upon the fact that he's dealing with a wrestler. Now, we've seen him do well against wrestlers in the past, even recently with Randy Couture being able to use good grappling, use good sweeps. Beautiful sweep he used to transition into mount from the bottom against Randy. Then he's taking on Cain Velasquez, who trains out of AKA, with the likes of Mike Swick, Koscheck, John Fitch. Velasquez, a very talented wrestler, improved boxing, good cardio. Really, I think this fight's going to come down to where the fight takes place. If it stays standing, Velasquez may have a chance, but I think Nogueira has the edge in the boxing. I think if it goes to the ground, Velasquez, is probably the better wrestler, but when it comes to grappling, Nogueira is definitely the better grappler, and we've seen him eat wrestlers up, like I said, throughout his career, that were better wrestlers, but Nogueira was just the better grappler. And I think that's what's going to play into this fight. I think Nogueira is the better grappler, and I think if this fight hits the ground, which I think it will, that's where Velasquez is probably going to feel, the most comfortable if he starts getting worked on the feet, which I think is going to happen. I think that Nogueira will catch him in a submission off of a mistake. I'm going to say second round submission, probably by armbar. All right, next fight, Wanderlei Silva versus Michael Bisping. Wanderlei Silva, legend in the sport, has been around for a very long time, fought over in Japan in Pride, was the middleweight champion for a very long time. Kind of fell off after the two knockouts he suffered, one to Crow Cop via that nasty head kick, and the one to Dan Henderson at Pride 33. He really hasn't been the same since then. He's looked kind of subpar. Hopefully, moving down to 185 will reinvigorate his career. This will be the first time he moves down to this weight, which could be a problem as far as the weight cut is concerned. He's taking on Michael Bisping, who, many consider to be one of those guys that gets too much, credibility and too much hype. I think some of that is true. I think some of it's not true, but I digress. He's a very good kickboxer, has good hands, decent grappler, decent wrestling. I've really gone back and forth on this fight only because Wanderlei has been, a little shaky, with the weight cut at 195. Moving to 185 is going to be even tougher of a cut. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages that. If he's able to manage it well and come in with good cardio, I would have to take Wanderlei Silva in this fight, only because I think Michael Bisping's going to use a similar game plan that he used with Chris Lieben. He's going to try to use the bike, use footwork, move around. But Wanderlei Silva is not a Chris Lieben. Wanderlei Silva will throw punches when moving forward. And he's either going to connect or he's going to catch Bisping a couple times and drop him. Maybe Bisping will recover, maybe he won't, maybe he'll knock him out. Or we see Wanderlei Silva come in with poor cardio and Michael Bisping is able to overwhelm him and win a decision. So that's one of the two ways that I think that this fight's going to go. Even though Wanderlei may come in with bad cardio, I'm still going to take Wanderlei. I'm going to say by unanimous decision. All right, on to the next fight. Joe Stevenson versus George Sotiropoulos. Joe Stevenson, very good wrestler, talented grappler, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Decent boxing. He's been improving on that, trying to get that well refined and better. He's really picked up on using his wrestling a lot more with combinations, kind of mixing it up. George Sotiropoulos, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very good grappler on the ground. His stand-up is subpar. It's an area of his game that he is continuously working on. I think it's an area that he still needs to improve upon. This is going to be a very interesting fight. I think that Stevenson will be able to take this just by using control against the cage, pushing Soteropoulos up against the cage, using combinations to set up takedowns. As long as he doesn't give up his back, which is where Joe Stevenson is the most vulnerable, is where he gets caught in most of his submissions, where he gets tapped out is when he's, someone's gotten his back, i.e. Kenny Florian, i.e. BJ Penn. I think that he'll be all right. I'm going to take Joe Stevenson by a unanimous decision. I'm going to cut the video off for a second. I'm going through a toll booth. Alright, so we move to the next fight. Ryan Bader versus Keith Jardine. Ryan Bader, very, very good wrestler. I think he's still training out of the Arizona combat team. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I haven't followed him in a while, so. Very good wrestler. Has improved really well with his boxing. He's improved with his submission defense. He's taking on a talented striker in Keith Jardine. Keith Jardine training out of Jackson's. Very good grappler, underrated grappler. Unorthodox style, likes to throw leg kicks and mix up his punches, kind of using a lead jab and throwing from different angles. This will be a very, very interesting fight. If Ryan Bader can close the distance, put Jardine up against the cage, put him on his back, use transitioning to move around on the ground and to try to not get caught in any sweeps, because Jardine, like I said, is very, very talented on the ground. He doesn't get enough credit. If he's able to use control, use good 1-2 combinations to set up the takedowns, I think that, Bader can win this fight. And that's actually what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Ryan Bader by a unanimous decision. I think that this is a bad matchup for Keith Jardine. If Bader can use, good footwork and a good pace, as long as he keeps Jardine guessing of when the takedown's going to come, throwing the combinations, setting the takedown up, staying longer on the feet, kind of making Jardine a little weary of when the takedown's going to happen, where he can score a little bit more. I think that Bader can win this one, so I'm going to pick Ryan Bader by unanimous decision. All right, on to the last fight of the night, Mirko Cro Cop versus Ben Rothwell. Mirko Cro Cop fought a who's who in mixed martial arts. Really has not transitioned well over in the UFC. He's got 2 wins so far out of the amount of fights that he's fought there. One against Eddie Sanchez, the other against Mustafa Al-Turk. And he's taking on Ben Rothwell, who is an IFL vet. Good hands, decent wrestler, decent grappler. If Cro Cop is going to win this fight, he's going to have to rely less on throwing the high kicks. He needs to throw leg kicks. He needs to throw the jab. He needs to throw 1-2 combinations, throw Rothwell off, make Rothwell guessing, or keep Rothwell guessing, I'm sorry. But I don't think that's going to happen. Cro Cop has not looked like himself. Every time that he said he's come back better, he's not looked good at all. I think he really is just a shell of his former self. And I think Rothwell is going to, be able to come in with a good game plan. I think Rothwell will probably employ a game plan to keep Cro Cop from getting a solid stance, to try to set up any of his combinations, to keep him guessing. Rothwell, what I think may happen is Rothwell will try to put him up against the cage, use some dirty boxing, try to suck the wind out of Cro Cop, to just wear him down, and I think that Rothwell will take a decision in this one as well. So I see a lot of decisions in this card, unfortunately. Hopefully there will be more stoppages than that, but we'll see how it plays out. So those were my picks for UFC 110. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back to do a review probably Sunday night, so you guys take it easy.